Hello, I'm Mike Freeman, Hennepin County Attorney. I would first like to introduce the family of Justine Ruczek, who's survived many very tough days. John?
It's been a painful journey from July 15th, 2017 to today. Justine was killed by a police officer, an agent of the state. We believe he was properly charged with a crime. The jury has returned a verdict of guilty on murder 3 and manslaughter 2. We are satisfied with the outcome. The jury's decision reflects the community's commitment to 3 important pillars of a civil society: the rule of law, the respect for the sanctity of life, and the obligation of the police force to serve and protect. We believe this guilty verdict strengthens those pillars. We hope this will be a catalyst for further change. We would like to note that we believe the conviction was reached despite the active resistance of a number of Minneapolis officers, including the head of their union, and either active resistance or gross incompetence of the BCA, particularly at the beginning of the investigation. Thank you.
Don? Justine's fiance.
Thank you for being here. Nearly 2 years ago, my fiance, Justine Ruczek Damon, was shot dead in her pajamas outside our home without warning as she walked up to a police car, which she had summoned. Ironically, the Minneapolis Police Department emblem on the squad door reads, "To protect with courage and to serve with compassion." Where were these values that night? Justine tried to help. She called the department to report sounds of a woman in distress. She called them because she needed them to protect with courage and serve with compassion. But that night there was a tragic lapse of care and complete disregard for the sanctity of life. The evidence in this case clearly showed an egregious failure of the Minneapolis Police Department. I implore the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry and Police Chief Medaria Arredondo to do everything they can to ensure that these essential human values are not just words on a car door, but are lived values of every person in the police department who need a complete transformation of policing in Minneapolis and around the country. I want to thank Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman for recognizing how unjust this act was and by making a just decision to charge this case. I want to thank Assistant Hennepin County Attorneys Amy Sweezy and Patrick Lofton for prosecuting this case with such care, diligence, and integrity. I want to also thank the staff of the Hennepin County Victim Services Division for their support of our families during this time. I'm grateful to Hennepin County Investigator Nancy Dunlop and BCA Special Agent Brent Peterson for their diligence in completing this investigation in the way it needed to be completed. I also want to thank everyone who has held us in their hearts and prayers. We've not walked this path alone. This case is about Justine. And Justine lived to teach us about love. She lived to teach us about our own human potential. She taught us to live joyfully. She taught us to laugh. And she demonstrated what it means to live from the heart. She was a living example of compassion. In her life, she committed to transform humanity, and her legacy is continuing that work today. Thank you.
I want to begin by extending my deepest sympathies to the family. This is a tragic shooting that did not have to happen and should not have happened, and our hearts go out to her family and friends. On behalf of our entire office, who put so much into this case, I want the family to know how sorry we are about what occurred. We believe the jury carefully reviewed the extensive evidence and made the correct decision. This is a challenging case with limited video evidence and only 2 witnesses of the actual shooting. We worked very hard to collect all the evidence, interview all the witnesses, conduct every relevant test, and retain superb experts. It does not give us pleasure to call out police wrongdoing, but when it occurs, it is our job to let the public know, and in extreme cases, to bring charges and prosecution. Today and over the last year, we have done our job and done it well. This is a solid jury verdict, and we believe it will be upheld on appeal. I want to thank our superior and exceptional trial team, Senior Attorney Amy Sweezy, Patrick Lofton, her cohort, who put in hundreds and hundreds of hours and made an excellent presentation in court. They're helped by paralegal Angela Erickson, investigator Nancy Dunlop, Special Agent Brent Peterson of the BCA, and our wonderful victim advocates Jeannie Wernitz and Therese Lockwood. And I would be remiss not to include our very competent case management assistant, Courtney Higgins. Thank you all for what a great job you've done. I will be glad to take some questions. Go ahead.
Mike, this trial highlighted a lot of alleged missteps by Minneapolis police and the BCA. How can anyone trust them in the future investigating officer-involved shootings and or other crimes?
Initially, there were mistakes both by the Minneapolis police and the BCA. When we raised those issues, Minneapolis police cooperated and did their job. And the lead investigative agency was the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. And when I brought to the attention of its leader and the Commissioner of Public Safety, 2 new agents were assigned, including Brent and Michelle, and they did a great job. People make mistakes. We work with the Minneapolis police and the BCA all the time. We've had several officer-involved shootings since that time. I'm pleased to report that both MPD and BCA have done an exemplary job. We hope the problems that we've had in the past are over, and they continue to do the good job they've done recently.
So are you saying that the previous officer-involved shootings were thoroughly investigated and this is the exception? Or were the same mistakes that we saw here possibly also conducted in the previous investigation?
On every investigation I've been involved in, with the exception of the Noor case, the work was superb. And I want to assure you that as I did in the earlier cases, on this case, I read every police report, looked at every video, and I spent New Year's Eve weekend reading the 325 pages of our experts' report. There were some missteps early on. I think this superb prosecution team helped bring the BCA and MPD around, and I was pleased with the investigation we had. It took us longer than it should have, but it was a strong investigation and a strong prosecution. Witness the jury's determination of guilty on 2 of the 3 counts. Yes.
Mike, both sides had your own expert witnesses, and really they were dueling expert witnesses. How critical of a role do you think they played when speaking to when the use of deadly force is permitted and when it is not?
Frankly, the qualifications of our experts versus theirs are not comparable. Their expert's never been a police officer. How do you testify to what a police officer goes through if you've never been one? And both of our experts looked at everything in great detail and wrote very solid reports and testified extraordinarily well. I must admit, thanks to some of the questions from my colleagues.
Mike, a quick question over here.
Yeah, Paul.
Fox 9.
Fox 9?
Fox 9, yeah. But in all seriousness here, your team talked about it during closings about putting everything into evidence. You gave this jury everything. A lot of us, you know, people who played on TV thought it all came down to those seconds in the alley. Why was it so critical to give this jury everything and put it out there and maybe risk getting it caught up in some of the noise?
It was well reported by you and your colleagues that there were some problems in this investigation in the beginning. We needed to make sure that we showed all our warts as well as all our good work. And we're not going to let the defense suggest that this was a whitewash or this was terrible from start to finish. Because frankly, although it was a little weak in the beginning, everyone made up for it at the end. And did it take longer than it should have? Yes. Was the presentation at the end necessary? We believe it was. And, you know, when you look at police shooting cases in this country, over the last 12 years, there's been 12,000 police shootings. Only 95 of them have been prosecuted, and less than half of those have been successfully prosecuted. This was one because I think we did our job and we had to do it all.
And Amy asked about the asked this jury to think about the credibility of Mohamed Noor. In retrospect, what do you think happened in that alley? There's no noise.
I'm comfortable with, you know, you all saw what happened in court. You listened to it, and I'm comfortable with what came through as a real story.
Mike, a question. Checking records, is this the first officer-involved shooting resulting in an on-duty death that has resulted in a conviction?
In Minnesota, as best I can find, this is the first murder conviction. Okay, there have been other cases in which I believe way back officers were found guilty of manslaughter in the second degree, but this is the first murder case, and it's the first one we've charged.
Mike, on that point, twice during this trial, community members have demonstrated downstairs saying they feel the same kind of care has not been given to cases involving victims or people of color. Do you want to address those concerns that the only two officers we've seen charged in Minnesota in recent history were Ron Lianis, Mexican-American, and Mohamed Noor, Somali-American?
I've heard a small group in the community make disparaging remarks about me and this office to the effect that I won't charge white cops who shoot black people, but I'll charge black cops who shoot white people. That simply is not true. Race has never been a factor in any of my decisions and never will be. This office is a diverse office. We undergo training. We talk about the right thing to do every day. And we have charged white cops for committing crimes, but we look at each case based on the facts and the evidence and the law that's in front of us. And I will stand by what we have done.
So why in this case was it different from all the other officer-involved shooting investigations? You said the other ones were superb. This one was the exception. What happened here?
Well, the evidence showed that the officer acted unreasonably.
But in terms of the BCA and Minneapolis Police's investigation, why was this different from all the other cases? Why were all the other ones superb and this one a fluke?
The officers that are involved in cases are human beings. The two BCA agents, in my view, simply did not do a good job. The subsequent agents were great, and we're very appreciative of Brent for his fine work and Michelle, who worked with him. You all saw the evidence. You could judge what you think was well done and what wasn't. But in the end, I think the jury looked at the end result and did we bring all of the evidence to what happened in the situation forward? Yes, we did. Yes?
Did this case and the information that came out damage your relationship with the BCA or MPD at all? And if so, how do you move forward from that?
We spent a good deal of time since the missteps trying to rebuild the relationship. And I'm pleased to report that I think it has been rebuilt. We have different jobs. We, the police, investigate and arrest, and we make the charging decision and we prosecute. Sometimes there's tensions. But what I think the public has a right to demand of us is the best we can do. And as I said earlier, I believe that in several officer-involved shootings since the Noor case, both the Minneapolis police and the BCA have done a good job. And part of that, let me tell you, is body cameras. We didn't have body camera evidence that was worth much in the Noor case, but we did in the Blevins case, and we did in the Jordan case. And in fact, in the Jordan case, you saw Minneapolis police officers do everything humanly possible to try to avoid having to shoot the individual. And it wasn't chase the cop all the way down the street, all the way down to the corner, and the police officer kept saying, "Dude, I don't want to shoot you. Put your knife down." It was very well done, and he didn't shoot him until he lunged at him at close quarters with that knife. He had to shoot. And I think that's the difference. Both these cops did what you want cops to do, and it was on camera.
Mike, given the unprecedented nature of a conviction of an officer on duty, what is the presumptive sentence here on these two counts?
The presumptive sentence on the third-degree murder is 150 months, and on second-degree manslaughter is 48 months. I anticipate that the sentences will merge, and the sentence, which I'm not going to estimate what it is, that's the parameters. Judge Quaintance will have to look at the pre-sentence investigation and all the other factors. And as she did in this trial, I think she will be fair and just. That's her history and reputation, and she certainly did it in this case.
Mike, sounds like early on,
I've got you've had more than your share. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to speak with jurors yet, and do you know what led them to this decision?
I have not. As you know, the jury verdict was reached less than an hour ago, so that's premature. I love you, but you've had more. Anybody else over here, and then I'm going to finish.
We heard the family talk about hoping for change as a result of this. What do you hope that there may be the impact of this verdict, any legacy, any changes that may happen in policing and investigations?
Well, first of all, we've already seen Minneapolis police change its policy and make sure that it is very clear at any stop they must turn on the body camera. And as I said to you earlier, in the two subsequent police shooting cases, the body cameras clearly revealed what happened and made our decision much more straightforward. Our discussions with the BCA, and they do, officer-involved shooting investigations all over the state. It's a challenging job. I think we've had some good discussions of what they need to do. They've suggested some things that we can do better, and we're all committed to doing that. So thank you very much. Yes, sir. One more, says the boss. Yes.
When the jury went to deliberate, how did you feel? Now, after everything was done and you were waiting for the verdict to be read, what were you expecting, and how did you feel?
I started out in this business as a trial lawyer, and every one of us who are waiting for a jury to come back is apprehensive. That's part of our business, because you have done everything you can and presented your whole case, and you're hoping the jury sees it your way. That's how I was feeling, and I was confident that these fine folks had done their job well, and the jury verdict reflected that. Thank you very much.
Final question. Mohamed Noor talked publicly for the first time when he took the stand.
That's County Attorney Mike Freeman, Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman, talking about the aftermath of the ruling where Mohamed Noor has been found guilty of 2 counts. A lot of interesting information coming out of there. I thought some of it really had to focus a lot on the BCA, their role in the investigation, the fact that they did not do a good job, in his words, initially of the investigation.
Absolutely. And beforehand, we heard from Don Damon, who is Justine Ruszczyk Damon's fiance, and her father, John Ruszczyk, and he came out to say that he was satisfied with the verdict. But he also went on to say that he hopes that this is a catalyst for change, and he said that there was an active resistance, he believed, with police, the police union chief, and there was gross incompetence. And I know that we just in
And
the
we're,
last
yeah, we're going to hear from him in a couple minutes.
yeah,
as
but
a
in the
matter of
last
fact.
few minutes, we did receive a written statement from the Minneapolis police chief, Madera Arredondo, and he said that he respects the verdict. He then went on to say, I want to extend my sincere apologies to the family and friends of Justine Damon Ruszczyk. As chief, I will ensure that the MPD learns from this case, and we will be in spaces to listen, learn, and do all that we can to help our communities in healing.
Just a few minutes ago, we heard from Justine's father, John Ruszczyk. Let's listen to what he had to say following the verdict.
It's been a painful journey from July 15th, 2017 to today. Justine was killed by a police officer, an agent of the state. We believe he was properly charged with a crime. The jury has returned a verdict of guilty on murder 3 and manslaughter 2. We are satisfied with the outcome. The jury's decision reflects the community's commitment to 3 important pillars of a civil society: the rule of law, the respect for the sanctity of life, and the obligation of the police force to serve and protect.
That again is John Ruszczyk, Justine Ruszczyk Damon's father. The Ruszczyk Damon estate is suing both police officers who were involved, as well as Minneapolis Police Chief Janae Harto and Madera Arredondo, in a $50 million civil rights action lawsuit. The suit alleges that 4 counts of infringing on her civil rights and conspiracy among the officer. It also names the city and former chiefs for failures to screen and train the 2 officers in not enforcing body camera requirements. Because we know that shortly after that, that was made a law to
Policy change.
Policy change, absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Let's go now to, are we going to go to our...
Jeff Wagner, I think?
Or Reg Chapman. Jeff
Yes,
Wagner.
Jeff
Okay,
Wagner.
Jeff Wagner was at the courthouse. He joins us now. Jeff?
Good evening, Frank. Yeah, we were down here, and in just the last few minutes, representatives of the group Justice for Justine spoke in front of the media here. The speaker on their behalf was Sarah Kunin. She was visibly and audibly emotional for a multitude of reasons. Number one, they said they want to celebrate very carefully that justice has occurred in some capacity here for Justine, which is what their whole entire organization has been all about, but they don't want to stop there. They say they're going to continue to fight for the justice for all victims of police violence. They mentioned names that many people in the Twin Cities are well aware of: Philando Castile, Jamar Clark, Archer Amorosi. They reinstated that this is not about Noor's race, Noor's religion. This is simply about wanting to make sure that there are justice for people that are victims of violence from police officers. This is the outcome they were hoping for, but at the end of the day, I think the emotion they were wearing is the fact that Justine is still gone. So there aren't necessarily winners in this case to them, but they wanted a conviction. This group specifically, they got a conviction, and they were here today to speak about that.
Jeff, I know, so you were saying that that was the organization Justice for Justine. They're there. Is there anybody from Mohamed Noor's family or anybody else around there that is talking or saying anything?
It's been difficult to get a sense if Mohamed Noor's family has actually come downstairs. I mean, there are so many different elevators, escalators, entrances, exits that lead to this lobby, that lead beyond this lobby for people to leave. It's kind of been a waiting game. Expectations of what's happened over the past several days have kind of gone out the door. We've been aware of family members coming down the elevator that's to my right, walking across the lobby, but everything's kind of changed with the verdict coming down today. So we haven't been able to get a sense of if family members of Mohamed Noor have come downstairs. Obviously, you just heard from family members of Justine Ruszczyk Damon, and they stayed upstairs with the prosecution. We've seen some supporters that we believe to be supporters of Mohamed Noor, because when the verdict came down, we were standing next to a reporter from Australia who was doing a live shot, and some people who appeared to be of Somali descent, who appear to be supporters of Mohamed Noor, did not seem that they were enthused and were actually verbally and visibly upset as they were listening to that reporter from Australia read those 2 convictions, that being for second-degree manslaughter and third-degree murder.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Wagner.
Yeah, we can, Jeff mentioned Justice for Justine, that organization. We actually had a chance to catch up with one of those members
Hey, sorry,
earlier,
I forgot.
and here's what they had to say.
Our hearts go out to Justine's family. They've gone through an arduous ordeal over the last 2 years, and we're glad that they got some measure of justice with this verdict today. But at the same time, our hearts go out to all the other families of police violence victims who never saw this kind of justice and are probably feeling a lot of pain about this ruling today.
This before, but I do know that organization is planning a rally tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and they're saying this is for people who were victims of police violence, and that's what the whole rally is supposed to be about.
I was going to mention, too, some perspective of where that gentleman is. I mean, that's 1 block away from 50th and Xerxes, which is a big, well-known intersection, and where Justine Ruszczyk Damon was shot and killed is just literally 1 block north of that intersection in southwest Minneapolis, an area that usually doesn't see very violent crimes, murder and things of that nature. Reg Chapman has been in the courtroom since jury selection began on April 1st. He was in there today, April 30th, when the verdict came down, and he joins us now. Reg?
Well, Frank, yesterday Judge Quaintance thanked the family of Justine Ruszczyk Damon and Mohamed Noor for their dignity and grace during the trial, and today they carried that dignity and grace over to the reading of the verdict. Remember, this is a very small courtroom here in the Hennepin County Courthouse. There's only 3 seats that separate Mohamed Noor's father from Justine Ruszczyk Damon's father. And when the verdict was read, Don Damon, Justine Ruszczyk Damon's fiance, burst into tears. He openly wept. Justine's sister-in-law had to comfort him. 3 chairs over, Mohamed Noor's father, who had been rocking back and forth in his chair for the last day and a half, finally sat back in his chair, put his hand over his face, almost in disbelief. Don Damon continued to cry as they read the verdicts, the guilty verdicts for Mohamed Noor. And Mr. Ruszczyk, Justine's father, just covered his face. He turned red. He looked almost relieved.
Yeah, definitely a difficult day in court, too, I think, Reg, for both families there. I know. We want to go again about the verdict, tell you about the verdict. So Mohamed Noor, once again, has been found not guilty of second-degree murder. He has been found guilty of third-degree murder and guilty of second-degree manslaughter.
A rally is planned for tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the Hennepin County Government Center. The organizers say they will be protesting in honor of all victims of violence by police. Our team of reporters and photographers are going to stay at the Government Center gathering the very latest reaction and outbreak from this case. We'll be right back.
The lake is calling. BreezyPointResort.com.
Call 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. Warming up in there, Dave?
Yeah, but my toes are still blue.
Those are your socks, Dave. Ask us about a new furnace today.
1 Hour. At Menards, nobody beats our price.